So it is the busiest home buying time of the year, right? This is the season, but why buy now? That's up next. So the summer buying season is always the hottest time of year to buy, literally and figuratively, because that's when everybody wants to move, right? But the market is tight, and here to discuss this today is my friend Brian Smith with Guild Mortgage in Madison. Thanks for coming back to the channel.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're loving your expertise, and you can watch his shorts on the channel as well and get those little quick tidbits. But we're talking about something super important today for buyers that are trying to find homes. As you know, if you are in the market, it is hard to find a home right now because they're just not out there. So how do you stay competitive? What's the end game? What should you do? Do you drop out of the game? Do you stay in the game? Ryan has some really good ideas on the financial side of that as to why you should stay in the game, and right now is a good time to buy. So why don't we just get into that?
Yeah, I would say right now is a good time to buy. I would also in the same breath say it's not an easy time to buy.
Right.
It's a very hard time to buy. And the reason that it's hard to buy is because we have a supply and demand problem. We have very few homes for sale and lots of people that want to buy.
Right.
What we're seeing though is that the people that stay with it and they stay in the market will eventually have success. So why is that important? Well, a lot of people right now say they want to leave the market because interest rates are higher than what they're accustomed to or what are considered high rates. Mm-hmm. And they want to wait until rates go down. The problem with that is when rates go down, a lot more people are going to come back into the market. Right. So there probably will be more homes available at that time, but the amount of buyers that are sitting on the sidelines and waiting for a better interest rate means that when that rate does go down, let's say rates go into the mid fives, you're going to see a flush of buyers come back into the market. Mm-hmm. And so the supply and demand problem will only be worse than it is now potentially. So our advice right now is stay active, keep your pre-approval active, stay interested, go look at homes, write offers, see if you can get your offer accepted. The other idea here is that when you come back into the market in a year, if you do re-sign a lease, that home might be 10, 15, 20% more price at that point. Mm-hmm. So waiting didn't help you. Waiting cost you money. One thing that Guild is offering is that while interest rates are a little bit more elevated than we'd like right now, as we sit here today, interest rates are around 7%. That Guild is offering to refinance any loan that we write between now and the end of 2025 if rates drop to a point of a refinance becoming available, and we won't charge new lender fees.
That's okay. Great. That's very helpful too, because if you're sitting and thinking, well, I really don't want to get locked into this rate right now, even though historically speaking, it isn't that crazy of a rate, and that's a whole other topic which we've talked about. Yeah. But at the same time, it is a little higher than you've been used to over the last year or two. The issue with that is that it can keep you out of the market, but like Ryan's saying, you can get into the home, you're not paying rent any longer, you're not possibly getting in at a higher price, even, more so than now, and you're being able to refinance that. And as Guild's offering this special deal, that really does help.
Yeah, and the idea is for someone who hasn't had a mortgage before, when they hear 30-year fixed rate, they think that's my rate for 30 years.
Right, that's it.
And for people who have owned homes, you know that over time there are opportunities to refinance and lower your interest rate. We don't know when that opportunity is going to come, but I follow a lot of industry folks, economic advisors that are basically saying, when you see inflation, the word inflation, which right now is very high, when you see that starting to go down, and you hear inflation's going down and that what the Fed has done by raising interest rates is working and inflation's going down, you're going to see mortgage rates go with it. Mm-hmm. So we don't know when that's going to happen, but when it does, mortgage rates will go down. So you've got a home, maybe you're at 7%, now rates go to 6%. You can refinance that home and lower your payment, okay?
Right.
You're still in that home at the buy price this summer versus next summer. The supply and demand problem that the housing market has right now is not going away anytime soon.
Not at all.
We're not going to snap our fingers and have plenty of homes for people to look at. It's going to ebb and flow over the next couple of years. We think it's a 3 to 7 year issue that we're working on here. So when you hear that as a buyer, if you're listening and you're a buyer, do you want to wait 3 to 7 years to feel like there are more homes for you to look at? Most people would answer no to that.
Correct.
So the idea is let's stay in the market. Let's go look at homes. Keep your pre-approval active. Work with your realtor. Go look at these homes. Write competitive offers. We also need to have the right mindset that we might write a lot of offers and lose out. But what you learn when you do that is who's winning and why am I losing out, and we work on those things.
Right. It's a game for sure, and it's one that you have to figure out the pieces, and that's what we do. Like as a team, you know, with the mortgage side, the realtor side, and the buyer side, we work as a team together to say, okay, what was it with this past offer? Let's look at that property. What did we write, and how can we make it better for the next one? And that's what we all come back to the table each time. But I think what you're saying is that you just can't give up just because there aren't a lot of properties, because of what you're going to incur later as higher everything, right? Higher price of everything.
And a lot of renters are faced with, well, my lease is coming due or I need to re-sign. We'll help you work through that. If you need to re-sign a lease, can you sublease it should you find a home? That's a safe play. If you re-sign your lease and you've worked with your landlord so that they know and that you're still shopping, and that if you find a home, you are able to sublease and still get out of your lease before the year's up, that's a perfect scenario. Because at that point, now you can spend that year looking for a home and go out and look at homes when they become available, knowing that you're not under the pressure of that pending need to move or lease signing that's sitting there waiting for you.
That's a really, really good point too, because a lot of people that I work with will be in the first-time home buyer realm, and they are sitting on a lease right now, and they think, well, I have to sign in 60 days. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Finding a home in 60 days can be a challenge, but like you said, work with your landlord and see what they say. You just let them know that I'm in the market to buy, and a lot of times a lease can be broken based on the fact that you do buy a home. So every situation is different. You just have to speak with them to know what's best. But I think the key factor here is knowing that if you're waiting to buy, the market isn't going to change. There aren't going to be a lot of sellers just to say, well, I know I can get a great deal for my house right now, because they're afraid once they sell, where are they going to go? So it's just a vicious cycle right now. And as you also said, prices aren't going to go down next year. They're only going to either stay the same or go up most likely. So when you just sit down and crunch the numbers, which is what Ryan does, he's a numbers guy, he crunches numbers. So you can call him and say, this is the type of home I want, this is about how much I have to spend, can you tell me what this means as far as out of pocket now and then? And you can just put it all out and look at where you really are with the numbers, right?
Yeah, it's really important to evaluate that. Even if you think you might want to buy in a year, get pre-approved right now, because you want to evaluate the numbers. Are they what you want them to be right now? If not, that's okay, but we'll work on that. We'll figure out, what do we need to change? Is it that we need to make more money? Is it that we need to save more money? Do we need to pay a debt off? Do we need to increase our credit score? Do we need to ask family for a gift? All of these things are going to be part of the conversation. Our goal as a team is to help you become a homeowner. And so our job is to problem solve.
Right.
And if what we're looking at on paper with you is not what you want, that's okay. Know that we're going to work with you to figure out what that recipe is. So if you're scared of it, or if you're apprehensive, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's information that you can use to buy a home. And we don't care if that's now or in 3 years. It doesn't matter. But the people who wait to get pre-approved until they want to buy, they're usually in the back seat. They're because there are other people out there that have gotten more prepared.
Exactly.
And so the key is you can't get prepared enough and soon enough.
Right. I agree with that. And the preparation is the key, because knowing your numbers, knowing what you can afford, and saying to yourself, I don't really want that. I want to have something different for myself or my family. Then that's where Ryan comes in, and he can work with you to get you in the position to get what you want. And that's where the realtor comes in. And then I can work with you to make sure that you are where you want. So again, it's all about preparation. It's all about knowledge and understanding. And that's literally what we do all day, is talk to everyone about this. So, I think, is there anything else that you wanted to cover today in reference to that?
No, I think, we've covered a lot of good stuff here. There's supply and demand problem, but you can win. It's not impossible. The buyers that we've worked with that have stayed with it, they get a home. You'll get a home. It's just a matter of when. And let's start the process now and see what it looks like. And if it doesn't look like what you want, great. Let's create a plan to get you there eventually.
Love it. That's perfect. Well, there's more videos with Ryan on the channel. You can watch those. I'll put a link above. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we do this a lot, so just go ahead and subscribe. We'll give you new videos each week. And thanks again for watching. All the contact info is below. We'll see you next time.